plant expansion rather than
well, it almost sounds like
just about shut down.
Columbia.
I didn't know, so yeah, it's like.
They at a point in the expansion where it didn't really matter.
Yeah, trying. Oh, I grew up in
So, if everyone could get their last half donut for the moment. Is everyone? We're gonna get this show on the road. So I would like to ask Chief Jason Louie to come and open the meeting.
Okay, so Kootenay, Udaksha Kakan Awo, Udakin Dache, Yakanuke, Sukashkukan Kinwan, Nasan Yitke. Morning, my name is Chief Jason Louie of the Lower Kootenay Band. I'd like to welcome you to the traditional territory of the Akanuke people. So I understand this morning we're going to be having some discussions about water. And I have a story that I'd like to share with you in a moment. But first and foremost, I want to talk about how fortunate we are in our area. So I grew up here. I grew up at the Lower Kootenay Reserve. And I was in the tail end of when there was still a well in the community. So my grandmother would go to the well every morning to get the water for the day. But at this well was where the community met. So the community would meet there, they would visit, they would get updates on the latest gossip, important issues. It was the meeting site. So things changed. We got a water system in. We're one of the fortunate First Nations where we didn't have too much to worry about with our water. We have an underground system that is some of the best water in the world. So when we upgraded our system about 4 or 5 years ago, we did a taste test at our community meeting. We had water from the town of Preston, Dasani, and then our community water. So the organizer knew which was which, so we had to test and we had to guess. So I think there was probably about 50-some people that came to the meeting, and the majority, with the exception of 4, chose our community water, thinking that it was the Dasani. So that shows and tells you how good our water is. Well, it's been a while since I've told this story. Prior to this job, I used to work in a band-operated school. I was a teacher's assistant as well as a culture and language teacher. So just bear with me. So this takes place at a time before contact with non-Indigenous people in the community. And our people moved camp to a base of a mountain in the valley. So they moved there because of the abundance of the berries, the huckleberries, the roots that were on this mountain, as well as the animals. There was elk, and there was deer, there was grouse, and something kept happening though. Every time our people tried to go and harvest, they were chased down the mountain because a natural disaster of something happened. A flood. The ground would break open. So the people began to starve. So one character in our culture, skin coots, is the coyote. He's known as the trickster. So the coyote came along and said, I will help you guys. I know exactly what's happening here. So this is one of the very, very few stories where coyote is actually the hero and does something good. Because he's usually not doing good things. So he said, get the young men together and we're going to have a ceremony, and I need the young men to build 2 big fires, and I will lead this ceremony. I will be the ceremonial chief. There were people were skeptical because they knew how this person was. So the nighttime came. They began getting ready for the ceremony. The fires were built. And Coyote began to dance. He began to sing a song that really wasn't a song. He was just making it up. He was putting on a show. And he would jump over the fire. He would jump over backwards. And then he said, now go get me a teepee pole. So they got him a teepee pole. And they tied it to his back. And he said, the Creator is telling me that I need to go up the mountain and confront this mountain spirit, which is Mpika, known as spirit water. So he was putting on a good show when he was saying this. His eyes were closed, and like he was communicating with the higher power, but he wasn't. He's just a very clever individual. So following morning, they see him off, and he goes up the mountain, his teepee pole tied on his back. He gets to probably the middle of the mountain, this really steep incline. And this mountain spirit says, this is my mountain. I don't want any of you guys here. So you need to go away. And Coyote said, no. These people are starving. These people are hungry and they need water. And so the mountain spirit says, you need water? And there was a big flood that came. The ground opened up. And Coyote fell to where the ground opened up. But because he had the teepee pole on his back, that saved him from falling deep into that ravine. So the mountain spirit said, you outsmarted me. And for that, I will allow these people to come harvest and be here, and I will not harm them. But you need to remind these people to be grateful, to have gratitude, that after they harvest berries or they take water, or they take an animal, that they need to leave a gift. And they need to keep it clean. Never take more than you need. And we do that by leaving an offering of tobacco. So we still do this, not everybody, but these are traditions that are being lost. So when we're done hunting, we take the life of an animal, we leave our tobacco, we leave a prayer. We take water, we take huckleberries, we leave that offering. So that was one of the first teachings of where we're taught to be grateful for water, for food, for all of these things. Now, unfortunately, in 2018, not everybody feels that way. Not everybody has those same practices. I was at Kootenay Lake one time and seen this individual backing into, he was on a boat launch, and his vehicle's running. And the muffler becomes submerged in water, and he's just idling his vehicle, and that exhaust is being released into the water system. And there's so many examples of these things where we are not grateful for water. That human beings can be some of the most cruel, brutal, and unforgiving individuals in this world. We really need to, days like today, I know for a lot of us, this is our job. We're supposed to be here and we do our best, but we really need to be thinking long term. Just like in that story was teaching us for many, many generations down the road. But for today, and in their planning, that I spent some time in the military, and I have seen conflicts over resources such as oil. The powers that be fought, took human lives in the name of oil. That someday that resource is going to be gone, it's going to be diminished. And one of the next conflicts that I truly believe will happen in this world is a conflict over water. And in our country, we have an abundance of water. So days like today, we need to be thinking long term of how we can be good stewards for the land, how we can preserve water, and also keeping in mind that there's always a power greater than us that wants to take that. So what can we do to help introduce legislation, laws that help protect the water? And in closing, I will just share another brief story. I don't even know why when I was a little boy, but I ended up in Saskatchewan. So, are you guys from Saskatchewan? I don't know why I was there, but it was a big culture shock. Everything was flat. And here, I could just go up to the tap or the hose outside and drink water. And it was summertime, I remember that. So whatever place I was at, it was really warm, it was really hot. And I go running up to the sink, get a glass, took a drink, and immediately spit it out. So that just goes to show that and that was my first experience of seeing not everybody has the luxury of going up to a tap and drinking from that. And then I noticed in the bathroom, the tub and the toilet, the ring from the, I don't even know what causes that, but it just showed how hard the water was. So I am very grateful for the invite this morning. That today is actually a scheduled council meeting for our chief and council of Lower Kootenay. And originally it was supposed to start at 12:30. So they changed it to 9:30, but I made this commitment, and sometimes I just need a break from the politics. So I'm gonna sit back
Don't we all?
and enjoy the discussions, and if I can contribute in any way, I will. So with that, thank you.
Thank you very much. Chief Joseph said we're all connected through water, and any of you Star Trek fans, there was one episode where they kept calling the people ugly bags of mostly water because we are all water, and it's the water that's connecting us, and this is the watershed network. And the network aspect of it is to try and connect us as people mentally and on the work that we're doing to protect that water and to improve the damage that we've caused. So the Watershed Network welcomes you. On behalf of the Watershed Network, we welcome everybody to this meeting. I'll try not to, my word of the day, bloviate. I'm going to try not to bloviate. It means to talk endlessly without any real meaning. So you will hear me do that at the end at the AGM where I get another session to talk a little bit. But for now, I just want to welcome you and put into your minds the connection of us, but also I'd like to focus on collaboration because that's how we get things done. And that's what the network aspect of this is about. How do we collaborate with one another to make a coherent statement for governments, but also for the work that we're doing and so that we can do our work better. So welcome, and I will stop talking.
Thanks, Richard. So I'm going to be